Welcome to the Universal Crypto News and Weekly AMA show, where we give important updates on the current and future projects we're working on at Universal, but also strive to create news content that the entire DeFi community can benefit from. We record live in our Discord server on Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. UTC, then post a video to our YouTube channel. So please subscribe if you'd like to catch the videos as soon as they drop. If there are any questions for our team or topics you would like to see covered, please comment on our videos or drop them in our Discord server, and we'll be happy to address them as best we can. The goal is to be open and available to our current and future investors while providing content that can help the entire space grow. Just thank you to everyone who has supported us, and let's show the world what WAGMI is all about. All right, before we get started, there's a ton of news. Let me just do the disclaimer. As always, there are lots of topics to cover, so please, this is not financial advice. We are not your financial advisors. This is for educational and entertainment purposes only. A broad range of topics and opinions will be given freely, so please do your own research. Welcome in, everybody. How are we doing?
Good. I'm excited. It's been a big news week, so I'm kind of excited to see where that all comes and talk about it with everyone here.
Hey, we got Ozzy, Stud, and Adamus up here on the stage. Just welcome in, and I'll jump right into it. Kind of the big news is the Fed, right? I'll read just a few headlines, and then we can make a few comments if you like. The U.S. dollar index is hot, hitting 20-year highs at 110. The Federal Reserve raised interest rates by 75 bips, I think they like to say. Basis points, yeah. The U.S. interest rate rose to 3.25%, the highest since 2008. The Fed Chair Jerome Powell cites the FOMC split, so basically the next couple of rate hikes, between 100 to 125 basis points for the rest of the year. He also made a comment that says no one knows if we are in a recession, or if so, how deep it will be. Mortgage rates are up to 6.33%, and that was before the hike. And also, just throw this in, the German central bank says signs of a recession are multiplying, so no one is really admitting we're in a recession. But anyway, what do you guys think of what the Fed has done here?
I mean, I was thinking they might get a bit more aggressive, to be honest. I thought 100 basis points was potentially on the table, especially because core inflation's still increasing. And increasing faster than before. So I thought maybe we'd be seeing 100 basis point, but I guess they're worried about being that aggressive, especially just given how hard the stock market and I mean the crypto market dumped pretty hard after the CPI data news as well. So that's kind of one thing to keep an eye on, and then I mean I think we're in a recession. It's just a kind of different recession than most of us are used to, where like economic growth is slowed down. Yes, there's a high number of job vacancies and a low unemployment, but that's because of just the aging population in the States and in a lot of the Western countries, and so there's just more jobs. Like there's more people retiring than there are people joining the workforce, which means more openings. So, I mean that's my 2 cents there.
So I'm quite glad you brought that up. Speaking from the UK, we just had our figures out, and we've gone up by 50 points, up to 2.25, which is the highest since 2008. So if people aren't thinking there was a recession, then they're mistaken, because there surely is. But it's not necessarily a bad thing. What's the thoughts on recession with people?
Yeah, I mean I don't think recession has a really negative connotation, but I don't think it needs to in this connotation, because recession is just an economic slowdown. And I mean, especially after the insane growth that we had during COVID and post-COVID, or the initial post-COVID growth, I think an economic slowdown is almost necessary given how, um, like just how we've got a shrinking workforce in most countries that have this economic growth. So you need to let the economy slow down, let everything slow down, so that people and the workforce can catch up. So
Well, what do you think about like a pivot and the crypto, and just like how it affects the crypto market? So like, there's a recession; it's probably going to stick around for a little while. There's an argument that the Fed cannot keep raising rates forever, right? They just can't do it. It will destroy the economy. They can't go to 20%, like this whole Volcker thing that keeps getting mentioned. They're not going to be able to do that. Eventually, they're going to have to pivot. We're within kind of 2 years of the Bitcoin halving cycle. They're talking about raising rates, 50, 75 points over the next two. Like, when do you think this thing pivots and risk assets like Bitcoin and stuff? And this, I got to start calling this guy the bubble boy, Jerome Powell. But like the US dollar, is hitting a 20-year high. I mean, that's kind of a bubble right now. And
yeah,
Bitcoin and crypto markets never do well when the dollar is doing well. Like, when does that break?
I think we're probably within 6 months of a kind of a permanent bottom for crypto. In terms of we'll stop being in such a negative market in within the next 6 months. That doesn't mean we're in a bull market though in 6 months. I think probably we're looking more at a 6 months to a bottom and then ranging for another year and a half heading into that halving. And so that's my thought process. Yeah, you can't keep raising rates forever. So like there's going to be an end at some point, and it's just I think it's just whether or not it comes to an end faster or drawn out by taking slowing down the rate of increase in terms of interest rates.
All right. Well, speaking of the market turning and things changing for the next bull run, Ethereum has successfully switched to proof of stake, and it went smoothly, which is nice and some good news. After the transition, Ethereum proof of stake, Dogecoin became the second largest proof of work cryptocurrency after Bitcoin. I thought that was kind of interesting. But anyway, what do y'all think about the Ethereum merge and how that went?
I think the Ethereum merge is kind of a great news because I think a lot of people have been, a lot of governments have been trying to regulate proof of work blockchains for their environmental impact, or at least that was their argument, because they're more energy hungry proof of work blockchains are, and so this was a good way for them. Ethereum moving to proof of stake kind of eliminates the possibility of the biggest chain, at least for dApp wise,
Right.
of being eliminated or heavily regulated in that way. So I think that's a major win for everybody, for crypto as a whole.
Yeah, Joseph Lubin called the Ethereum merge the third major event in crypto history, with the creation of Bitcoin and ETH, with all the smart contract stuff, the other two. So just kind of like a big moment, but yeah, it kind of didn't move the markets right away. Anyway, not that anyone really expected it, I think.
It'll take some time, that's for sure.
Surely the fact that it should become deflationary, I don't think it's swayed on for a lot of people either.
No, but it was still like it had a big pump kind of heading into the merge, and so you need to pull back. Like it was way overextended, at least technical analysis wise. Like it needs to go back and revisit about $1,000 or right around there, and that before it really kind of can probably start jumping back up.
Yeah, just to piggyback on that, according to Glassnode, Ethereum network issuance decreased by 92.8% after the merge.
Yeah. it's dropping. Like it is deflationary, and that's gonna be insane. It'll be really good. But yeah, I just think it needs a little bit more time to really kind of let the market catch up to it.
Right. There's another interesting headline just kind of came out yesterday. Jesse Powell, CEO of Kraken, an early Bitcoin backer, plans to step down from his role as chief executive officer. He's kind of had some controversial stances. He's kind of been like a thorn in the side, a little bit of regulators and stuff like that. He's been kind of staunch backer, kind of independent thinker. I wonder if he's getting a lot of heat.
I think you need that in this space, though.
Yeah, I'm going to miss him, kind of. Yeah.
Giving it to the man. I'm all for that.
No, I agree with you. I'm going to miss him, actually.
You need strong voices out like in crypto that'll stand up for crypto, and push back against the regulators. Because otherwise the regulators will just do what's best for them. And they don't really know what to think, and so they'll start thinking for themselves, and they're not really good at that. They'll follow whatever big money tells them if no one else kind of strongly stands up for themselves.
Yeah, kind of like with this Tornado Cash thing, of like blocking addresses or. But yeah, just regulation and the proof of stake are a little more centralized, maybe more maybe easier to manipulate kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, they can be, but I think that just means that that users are gonna have to slowly kind of promote adoption for proof of stake coins, and so like more people should be trying to stake their Ethereum and stuff on their own to try to. And I mean, it does take a significant amount of money to do that, but I think that would be a major boost to the markets to kind of promote decentralization through users.
All right, kind of the next section we have is just some regulation news. Russia approved the use of Bitcoin and crypto cross-border payments. And then this was an interesting one. According to Lespirance and Associates law firm, possession of Bitcoin is still legal in China despite the ban. Is like Bitcoin untouchable?
I mean, it's kind of interesting because it's not got a centralized or like a governing entity, and so I think that's where a lot of cryptocurrencies get into trouble. Is there's just like with Do Kwon and the Luna Foundation, that's where you get into trouble with a lot of these cryptocurrencies. Is there's like one central group in charge of it, and so kind of takes away some of that decentralization.
Is it not just more the mining they're more worried about?
Yeah.
Rather than the actual use of it.
Well, there's definitely a lot of FUD against that. Like, it's bad for the environment. But my argument would be, like, if it is truly a better money, and it was literally invented to be a better money against the it's not inflationary like we've been living with, right? These inflationary fiat currencies. Is it worth a little bit of energy to do that, to have a better money?
But governments can't control it, so they don't really care if it's better money. And currency is somewhat how other countries control, like how developed countries, like especially the U.S., controls smaller countries, developing countries, because their money is usually worthless, and so they've got to do transactions in the U.S. dollar, or China does the same thing with the whatever the Chinese yen, I think it is. So
yeah, it's interesting, and yeah, I'll bring up the little and the Bitcoin Genesis block, like the original, the beginning of what Satoshi called the time chain. It's now called a blockchain, but there was an Easter egg in it, and there's an article in the original block, and it speaks to kind of this problem with inflationary fiat currencies. So it's like, the argument being like that's why this was invented, was to try to improve this situation.
Yeah, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I posted the actual article. It's not the article in and of itself. It's just more like the theme, as opposed to the specifics in the article. But I thought it was really interesting. I was totally intrigued by it, so I posted it.
Yeah, like you say, it's a great little Easter egg. That wasn't it? Didn't it get found because somebody was printing it on a T-shirt? So.
Well, that's how I like. I mean, it was known, but that's how I first discovered it. Is I like bought because I don't want like to wear like a Bitcoin shirt. I like to be a little more subtle than that. But I was like, oh, I can put the original like cryptographic hash, the first block, right? And then people might be like, oh, what the heck is that? And because you have to learn something about Bitcoin to know even what it is. But part of that shirt, it had like this news article. I was like, what is this? You know what I mean? So I just, looked into it a little bit, and yeah, it was just interesting. Anyway.
No, it's very interesting.
Okay, we'll do a couple more of these regulation news, then we'll get into the bullish news. I know that's Stud's favorite. Binance CEO, during a speech at Binance Blockchain Week in Paris, praised EU cryptocurrency regulation, the MiCA, and stated that will become a global regulatory standard. So they're kind of working on some regulation in the EU. And I guess they finished the legislation. I don't think it's passed, but the text is available for everyone who wants to look into it. Iran has started testing its own CBDC this week. And they're like... that country's going off. That country's on fire right now. There's like revolution, or there's some protests going on over there right now.
Massive protests.
And the USA is embarking on a campaign towards introduction of a central bank digital currency. Obviously,
they want to create their own stable coin. I mean,
they're gonna try it eventually. It seems like.
Oh no, they've been talking about it because they're talking about doing a ban on algorithmic stablecoins for the next 2 years. So. After basically the UST disaster has spurred them, I think it's I forget which group it is which special department it is that is heading that. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's a bill. With U.S. politics, there's a lot that has to happen for a bill, and there are competing bills, and we'll see. Yeah, but it's something to watch. Okay, let's get into some bullish news. A little more fun. Magic Eden expanding to ETH NFT. Magic Eden is Solana, the big Solana NFT platform, kind of like competitor with OpenSea on Solana. Expanding to ETH NFT with continued expansion for a handful of specific collections: Bored Ape Yacht Club, Pudgy Penguins, and Otherside, and more coming. This is just the beginning. And
that's kind of interesting. I mean, it's.
Good time to jump into Sol.
Yeah. I'm not a huge, I don't do NFTs a ton, so it's kind of interesting to see what they'll actually be able to do.
Well, from what I remember reading some articles, like Solana NFT sales have actually gone up during the bear market. They have not slowed down on Solana, that's for sure. And OpenSea is not going down; is not just laying down. They're trying to compete and improve user experience with Arbitrum L2 support. I'm not 100% sure what that is, but they are.
It's an L2 on Ethereum. It's cheaper fees. It's kind of like Polygon, but slightly more complex.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the best to speak on Arbitrum, but Arbitrum's basically like a layer 2 that helps
improve the Ethereum.
Yeah.
But isn't Polygon faster than Arbitrum?
Yes, so Polygon's faster than Arbitrum, but I think Arbitrum has lower fees than Polygon is. I think that's
Polygon fees are nothing as well, so that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, if you're trying to compete with Solana, I mean, they have really, really cheap fees, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, they all have pretty cheap fees. I think at this point, Ethereum's the only one that really has issues with fees. In terms of most blockchains, I'd say AVAX on occasion, when there's and like a lot of congestion, especially when the crab game was really popular. But it's kind of gotten, I think that's been pulling back, and so the fees have gotten back to normal, especially now that Wonderland Time isn't huge on there and stuff like that. I mean, Wonderland Time shut down a year ago. Well, was big a year ago.
Oh my god, it was.
Are you talking about AVAX now? The AVAX chain?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
That-
Corvado actually launched their subnet.
Oh, did they finally launch this up? So that's partially why the fees are cheaper.
Yeah,
So
like the beginning of kind of it's kind of the way Avalanche is kind of taking a different approach to dealing with high fees and doing subnets. But yeah, when I did the Vaporfy interview for the OC, I mean, they were talking about subnets as a service, so bigger projects as a way to kind of get them off chain and keep the fees lower. But if Avalanche continues to grow, they're going to need subnets. I mean, they need some way to compete on the fee level.
Well, that's it. And so if that was like that, I've noticed that their fees had normalized, but I hadn't realized that Krabata had actually gotten their subnet up. So
And there was one other big project that had a subnet. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out because it's like a totally different approach to dealing with fees is by using subnets. So we'll see which one wins out, or these layer twos, or kind of interesting to watch. Another story that I've been following closely, because as you guys know, I work at Starbucks. Starbucks chose Polygon for Web3 initiative. They will launch a loyalty program on the blockchain using NFTs. And for anyone interested, if you are a rewards member, if you use the app, you can sign up for a waiting list right now. It's called Odyssey.
I like it. I like that NFTs are moving to Polygon. I think that's.
It's light on the details in terms of like what the NFTs are, what the utility is, can you sell them, like exactly what it is, but still, like I'm on the wait list. I'm curious to see how this plays
Just
out.
look at that user base they've got. Like
Right.
the amount of people that have got them rewards cards and then those apps. It's amazing. This is fantastic news for crypto in general, to be honest with you.
Tens of
And as
thousands of store locations worldwide.
insane.
Yeah.
Even I don't know if you guys were following it. Have you heard of Sweatcoin?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they were an app years ago giving out these sweat coins that weren't crypto, and it's just sort of you build them up and you can get free discounts on watches, makeup, whatever. It depends on how many you've got. And you just a little bit like stepping. You earn them from walking. And then I don't know how it's taken so long to figure out that they should make a crypto version of it. And they have done, and that has got some massive adoption purely because there was that many people had the app on the phone anyway. The price from initial launch from last week has stayed pretty steady, even with the drama we had this week with the prices, shooting straight down. It's done quite well, considering I thought it'd go the same way as Stepping and just start, plummeting to nothing. Because as well, it generates revenue and it's a good little app to look at. But again, it's more adoption, it's more people, and as well, like people didn't need to do the whole seed phrase and to get their own wallet. They just needed a simple
wallet.
It just did it, yeah. It did it separately as a separate app, and it's dead simple. You don't even, well, again, not your keys, not your crypto, but to get people onboarded into crypto, I think that has done really well because people don't even know they got crypto. By downloading this app, they won't even really know. Like, do you know what I mean? It's dead easy.
That's when you start talking universal adoption. When people are using crypto,
and see what you did there,
and they don't even know they're using it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just superb.
Yeah. All right. Well, there's a bunch of other bullish news. I'll read through a couple of these. Colorado now accepts Bitcoin and crypto for tax payments via PayPal. Robinhood is listed in USDC. Coinbase granted regulatory approval in the Netherlands. Let's see. Bank of America.
This thing is interesting. I'm surprised. Colorado's probably one of the most forward-thinking states in terms of, I guess, economic liberties. They were one of the first to approve cannabis and all of that. But Yeah, I think that's kind of interesting that you can pay your taxes now in crypto in at least one U.S. state. It shows some forethinking.
Hmm.
Like people are thinking about it, and there's regulators that are open to it now.
Bitcoin supporter, I didn't get his name, is elected as leader of the Conservative Party of Canada. I did see him give a
Oh yeah,
speech. He was
Pierre
awesome.
Polyev.
What's his name?
Pierre
No
Polyev.
way. Oh, I thought
Yeah,
it said Peter
he
Parker.
What?
I thought it said Peter Parker.
No, no,
It's in
no,
Spider-Man.
no.
You've got
He's a
great
French
knowledge.
Canadian. He's somewhat pro crypto.
I saw a speech. I thought it was pretty powerful.
He's a good speaker. He's a very good speaker.
Yeah.
Did he
He's
swing
got
down
a-
from a building?
He's a very strong speaker, that's for sure. But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how his party does.
Right.
I
They're
mean,
not in power, the Conservative
Party's-
Party, right?
What?
The Conservative
No.
Party is not in power there, right?
No, so they're currently the minor. They're the opposition in Canadian government. They are usually one of the two main parties, either the Liberal Party, which is currently in government with
Trudeau.
was supported by a party on the further on the left, but the Conservative Party's struggled for the last 12 years. So it'll be interesting to see if he can gain some traction for them this time around.
Cool,
But
thanks.
that's not till 2025, I think it is. So there's still quite some waiting time.
You talking about it, your Canadian accent comes out. Thank you. Speaking of subscription, cryptocurrency adoption, Whitebit became a partner of Netflix. A European branch of Netflix will allow users to pay for subscription using cryptocurrencies until the end of 2022. I don't know if that's like a sample. This was another.
Pilot program.
Yeah, this is a kind of a big one. Nasdaq is starting a cryptocurrency custody service for institutional clients, starting with Bitcoin and ETH. For Nasdaq, that was interesting. I don't know exactly how that's going to look, but that's just some big names and custody service for institutional clients.
Yeah, I mean, BlackRock launched their fund for Bitcoin during this bear market, so it makes sense. It's been coming. The big money wants access to the stuff that everyone like that we've all had access to for
It seems like the custody is kind of what's holding up the spot ETF.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to help it break through. That seemed
probably.
hopefully that comes in the next
'cause they want to
6
make
months
sure
year.
we've got a foothold on it, don't we, first? They
Yeah,
want to make sure they
exactly.
can profit from it first, so... Got to grease the wheels, haven't they?
Another fun one, MasterCard launches a debit card in Spain that supports BTC and other cryptocurrencies, so just more adoption. And this was a big one, I thought. Helium and T-Mobile have partnered to launch Helium Mobile, a 5G wireless service for smartphones, a decentralized wireless provider of 5G. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, if that in and of itself is very interesting. Although Helium's been having a lot of other problems with how they've been slashing rewards and everything, and so like.
But it's an interesting use case for Helium because they have all these like nodes, right? Like people running their own nodes, sort of.
Yeah, like it could, if they can really take off and keep getting people to generate more nodes to support the network across a greater, like a larger and larger area, it'd be amazing. It's just making sure that the incentive program versus the cost of the miners and stuff is, and then of the nodes stays reasonable.
That's kind of it with the bullish stuff. I mean, there's more in the chain news when we get into it, but on the bearish side, Do Kwon's been in the news again. They issued an arrest warrant for him. There was some back and forth of whether he was on the run or not on the run, but South Korea asked Interpol to issue a red notice for Do Kwon. But as far as I know, he has not been arrested yet. Have you guys heard anything about that?
I haven't heard that he's been picked up, and I know he's done he did a couple of live streams, I thought, or tweets. I can't remember if it was live streams or tweets, but I've seen some messages from him since the whole incident started. So, kind of interesting to see what
happens with him.
What will happen with that? But I mean, he's basically bringing some of the CBDCs, the central bank digital currency stuff, because of what happened with UST. He's kind of the one that brought it on to us.
Yeah. Thanks, Do Kwon. All right. I know I had some money in that ecosystem, and it's just all gone now. So I don't wish any harm on him, but I don't have a lot of particular fond feelings towards him.
I got lucky. I pulled out. I had money in it, and I pulled out actually in a minor profit because of how just volatile it was during that time period.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking of putting more money in Anchor, but luckily I was just too active and wanted to invest, so most of it was invested in other stuff. So, just a couple other. Flash loan hacker receives $370,000 in USDC as a result of attack on Nereus Finance. And then a DeFi trader nets over $500K by using DEX GMX exchange to manipulate the price of AVAX.
That's nuts to think of.
Yeah, like he was able to just on his own manipulate the price using a DEX, and yeah. Wintermute, a leading crypto market maker, has lost $160 million in a hack, becoming the latest firm in the industry to suffer a breach. The Ethereum community found a potential attack vector. One of Wintermute's addresses has the properties of a vanity address, which could be the cause of the vulnerability. Let's see. That's kind of
interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I read that and it's like, I have a lot to research to understand even what's going on there. Like, what is a vanity address? I guess it's fake to some degree. But yeah, there's a lot I don't understand about that one. See, FTX has been in the news a lot. FTX offers the largest amount for the purchase of Voyager digital assets. UK financial regulator warned investors against working with FTX. Sam Bankman-Fried, the CEO of FTX, announced the exchange has at least $1 billion to deploy on the purchase of crypto companies. And FTX crypto exchange reportedly in talks to raise $1 billion in funding at a $32 billion valuation. So it seems like they're getting bigger, but at the same time they're getting like a lot of FUD against them a little bit.
Well, it's kind of creating a bit of a monopoly, isn't he? That's the thing, isn't he? Taking out the competition, but also creating a monopoly. So either way, he kind of wins. He takes them out, or if it does well, then he's cornered the market, so to speak.
Yeah, he's kind of making a big name. I almost wonder if he'll be made an example of by regulators. I worry about that.
He could become targeted. So
he's doing a lot of work again with the UK, and so I don't know, like, 'cause he wants to keep them happy. So I don't know, like, I think he's a pretty smart lad. I don't see him being outmaneuvered quite so easily.
No, it'd be hard to outmaneuver him, but I do see that there's a chance that someone tries to get him kind of maneuvered the way they want. I like he could be kind of tricked into saying something that he may later regret or may later go against the rules.
All right, now we can kind of get into some of the chain news if you guys would like. Cardano Foundation has announced a partnership with the National Wine Agency of Georgia. And they have their Vassal upgrade today, a hard fork. It's going to enrich smart contracts, increase throughput, and reduce costs. It's going to take, I believe, a full epoch. So September 27th, it will be full implementation. but no downtime is expected or updates needed from users. So hopefully it's as smooth as the ETH merge, and just like a nice story for crypto over the next week here.
So I'm not invested in Cardano, but can you boys tell me, do their smart contracts, did they even work yet? Or last I heard, and again, months ago,
Oh yeah, it's they work,
what's
and
going on with them?
they're pretty far along in their overall development. I
They've
think
got NFTs now and everything, so
yeah, lots of dApps.
Yeah, but don't mean have they got projects launching on it yet?
yeah,
For
I think
sure.
they're starting to.
Over
They're starting-
1,000 projects going on. Like it's
Oh, good.
yeah, it's
Like I said, I'm not
definitely.
into it. I kind of just, I've not been bothering looking at it, to be fair. Just kind of left it to it.
I mean, they're
Yeah.
definitely came behind ETH, so slower, but growing every day for sure.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah, it's just non-EVM, so it kind of, if you're playing around on Binance and Polygon and AVAX, you may not notice it, but yeah, there's the NFTs were kind of like the first boom over there, but all kinds of dApps, all kinds of projects going on over there.
Cool.
Let's see, Ripple in the news a little bit. The CFTC Commissioner Caroline D. Pham touring Ripple Labs with CEO Brad Garlinghouse, and the SEC and Ripple proposed to put an end to the XRP status. This was just a separate headline. And Ripple signs the Climate Pledge, a commitment to reach net zero carbon emissions by 2040. It just seems like they're trying to buddy up with regulators and get through this.
Interesting. Yeah, it's interesting to see them sign the Climate Pledge. I don't know. I do feel like they're just gonna keep running. They're running the scheme for them in terms of like least popular commitment is probably running a little low because they've been stuck in this regulation game for too long.
Yeah. Binance, as always, got lots of news. Google Cloud partners with Binance Smart Chain to boost Web3 tech. Binance will open 2 offices in Brazil for 150 people and issue a crypto debit card for the region. Binance received a full license from Dubai Virtual Assets Regulatory Authority. Now the exchange can open an account with local bank and offer a wide range of services to customers. This was a little bit of bad news. Binance mistakenly paid 4.8 million HNT. Is that the Helium one?
Yeah.
For 22 million. Binance partners with Bahrain's EasyPay to offer crypto payments to over 5,000 merchant stores. And the last one, Binance announces the creations of its new Global Advisory Board, chaired by former U.S. Senator Max Baucus. So they're always in the news, Binance, making moves.
Yeah, they're trying to position themselves to be in a good spot. Kind of like Bankman-Fried.
Yeah.
Trying to position themselves well to benefit from crypto adoption.
A little bit with Bitcoin. The Lightning Network capacity has surpassed 4,800 BTC or $92 million. And the Royal Family of Dubai partners with Coin Corner to enable Bitcoin transactions in the country. I did mention the Easter egg, and that Bitcoin was born during the 2007 to 2009 kind of Great Recession here, and all the quantitative easing and low interest rates that was used to get us out of it, and that continued well past it and created all this inflation that we're dealing with today. And I just wanted to bring this up. We're about 540 days out until the next Bitcoin halving, so under 2 years. About every 4 years, the inflation rate of Bitcoin is cut in half. The current block size is 6.25, so every 10 minutes, 6.25 Bitcoin are created. And that's going to go down to 3.125 after the next halving. And this process will continue until the year 2140. However, and this is related to inflation, 98% of all Bitcoin will have been minted by the year 2030. And over 90%, or around 90%, I think have been minted to date. So there's not a lot left to be minted.
No, there's a lot of competition for what's left, the last 10% or so. It'll be interesting.
Supply and demand.
Yeah, they're trying to change the game in terms of, currency and what it means. All right, we can kind of get into the DeFi news and rumors. AVAX, there is an Avalanche SoundCloud for access to exclusive mixes for cutting edge artists. So this is a Web 2 thing. It's a Web 2, Web 3 collab. But I think it just brings to attention that AVAX is expanding the cultural side of the blockchain and paying attention to it. I thought that was interesting. And trying to integrate artists and culture into the blockchain.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's kind of a fun little story.
They're starting to make like music, and I've heard music NFTs, so this could be kind of phase 2 of that, or maybe phase 1. So it could be interesting, especially if you get bigger and bigger artists doing it.
Well, Gala Music is kind of kicking off. I think before the end of the year, that will be kind of fully launched, the Gala Music nodes, and that whole concept of music with NFTs and kind of changing the industry. And just for DeFi news and rumors, if you have a Gala Music node and you run it, you can't, you're not really running anything. But if you do run it, you can earn decibels. And they have some rewards, like a music system NFT that, if you run it every day, you can earn some kind of reward for when it launches, some kind of bonus. Let's see, MDB. I thought this was interesting because they had a successful launch of a new product in this bear market, and that just stood out to me that they were able to kind of keep products coming out and have a successful launch.
Yeah, they had a
very
really
tough market.
launch. Mm-hmm. Their NFTs, they had 300 NFTs sold out in 30 seconds.
Awesome.
30
yeah.
seconds.
Did you get one? Did you say you got one?
I got one. I was
congrats. One of 300.
Yeah, well, I was one. Less than 300 people got one, and I got one of the 300. So, and their pre-sale, which was for $1.25 million, sold out in I think just under 4 hours. So, and the token the Infinity token, I'll check what it is now, but it was up. It's at least a 2x up from launch. Still already. Yeah, it's at least a 2x up from launch right now. So, 2.5 almost. So.
And then there are some other launches going on. Presend is launching. Now they have an institutional round going on right now. And basically the only thing you need to qualify, I think, for the institutional round is be willing to put in $1,000. And then it's going to go to the Wolfer NFT holders, and they'll probably sell it out. So if you don't have a Wolfer NFT and want to get involved with Presend, if you have $1,000, you got some time to get in.
Only a couple days.
No, one more day. I think today might be the last day. But Presend come out. Be interesting to watch that one. See how it does.
Yeah. That's another really interesting one. I know their institutional investment's already done $1.5 million in a raise, so they've raised pretty solid as well. And
I think it maxes at $2 million, the institutional. So yeah, and they had a Pelton AMA today, and I think they were expecting a lot of the money to come in last minute.
Yeah, and then I know. I also know that Project 79 is getting ready to open their second sacrifice period and announce what their first month's profits were. So that's something to keep an eye on, because that could be really, really interesting if they did well this last month.
Right on. Let's see. Collectiverse I think they're whitelist and NFT. They're starting an NFT launch. And I think you do have some time. I'm not sure the deadline, but I think it's around 350 to get in on if you're on the whitelist there. So Collectiverse trying to launch
It's a
in the
little
bear
delayed,
market.
Actually, they just announced that they were having some contract. They were having a couple of contract issues. But if you're in the Collectiverse Discord, then keep an eye on that because they have been posting some updates.
Okay, good to know. Thank you. Let's see. Wox's project was it Project X? Protocol
X.
Protocol X. So this is an interesting story. They kind of changed what was going on over there because I guess CoinMarketCap is not listing Rebase tokens, which I thought was interesting because I couldn't find any like official news. But when you look at Protocol X and what was going on over there, they were changing things because they weren't able to get listed on CoinMarketCap. So I thought that was interesting, just that auto rebasing tokens were getting kind of singled out by these by CoinMarketCap.
Yeah, but CoinMarketCap's always had very weird rules.
And I went and looked at their rules. I could not like find definitively. It didn't say anything.
No, it's their rules and their rule system.
And they have like Titano still listed and other auto rebasing tokens listed, but they had to change theirs in order to get listed. I didn't quite understand it 100%.
It took them like 2 months to get listed as well, didn't they?
What was that, Adamus?
Yeah.
It's been taking a lot longer for DeFi projects to get listed.
Oh, I see.
And auto rebases is like it's slowly it's been taking longer and longer. So
on one hand, to play devil's advocate, that does help the space safety wise, but also can kill a project as well.
Exactly, and there's always been some pretty sketchy things with CoinMarketCap. I've talked to a couple project developers that I know that have listed on CoinMarketCap, or one of them refused to list on CoinMarketCap because basically you have to grease an employee's palm to get your listing moved along. And I've heard greasings as high as 20,000 have been needed to get a listing going. Although the average that I heard is around 4,000 to 5,000.
Yeah, it's still the Wild West out there. These things happen.
Yeah. So.
But with every passing day, things do get better.
Absolutely.
And as well, in traditional finance, I've done a little bit in traditional finance. Stuff like this goes on all the bloody time with a lot more regulated entities, and you wouldn't think it would be, but sorry to swear, shit goes on.
Yeah, I believe it. And I mean, I guess in less positive news, to kind of go off this kind of little bit more negative tone, Fortunatus Finance, which had launched about 9 days ago, had a contract exploit which drained all of their liquidity.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the On-Chain Alliance, who, led by Brent Streichen, has, like, they tracked down the wallet where the funds have gone to, and they've also contacted the devs. This is one of the situations where they used Upwork devs to handle their payment system, like to handle their contracts, and so it seems to have backfired a little bit. But they're working pretty hard to try and figure out the best way to solve it, and they're working to solve it, try to address it. But yeah, that was pretty unfortunate.
I kind of like Chris. Stud starts if he's still about. The Stud is going to jump on stage for a second. Not that he's got anything to do with this project, or being from an investigations kind of background, if he's got anything to add to this.
We can invite him to speak, and we got a few more DeFi news and rumors, and then we can do.
I would say I've spoke to Luke over at Fortunatus. I mean, he's a good guy. Yeah, a Stud's waiting exam. He's a good guy, and I don't think he's got anything to do with with any of this time.
Yeah, but just the fact that this can happen to good
But-
people in this space.
Yeah, well, this is it. Like I've just been saying, it's the Wild West out there, you know. And unfortunately, shit happens. People take advantage. And when you know, doing the thing like someone gets stood on.
Well, just to piggyback on.
Like Upwork or Fiverr or something, and they've they're in control of your contract. It's a little bit of a schoolboy error. If someone's got control of the keys to the bank account, you need to trust them with your life. And it's not just your life, it's everyone else's life. It's all the people that invest in that project. So, you know, it's a little bit of a schoolboy error, but then again, I'm not a developer.
Yeah.
Again,
But we gotta try to defend ourselves. And just to piggyback on that, there's a group called Crypto Assets XYZ, and they had a really interesting Twitter space that I listened to, and it was recorded, so you can go check them out on the state of DeFi and rugs and security. And I just wanted to point it out, just to go check it out. It was a really interesting discussion. They had a cool panel. And just about how to protect yourself a little bit. It wasn't necessarily like settled everything, but just an ongoing discussion about how to deal with it.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be one way to settle something like this. It's kind of it's an ongoing iterative process to try and improve and make just the space better as a whole.
I mean, there's some crazy stuff. Like you were talking about the Rebellion project a little bit, that they launched, and they had a crazy scam attempt where someone like literally like blackmail, and they posted it on their server. Super interesting read. It was a group called Ubiquity Ventures.
Ubiquity Ventures.
That was disgusting to read, bro.
Yeah.
Like psychopathic. It was crazy, and he's posted it. It was interesting for him to share that. I appreciate him sharing it, just to, because sometimes the founders and the leaders see things that the community does not. So it was interesting read to some of the stuff they have to deal with.
Well, that's it, and then there's all the stuff backstage that they'll be going on that nobody knows about. So that'll be sending the red west.
A couple more. I posted this in our call out.
Peter, that's stud. That's waving. Trying to get my space.
He's got
I posted this in the collab section, but Yabonks in that chat, Yabonks has an animal sanctuary that he runs at his house, and there's like a little $5 buy him a cup of coffee donation. And I really like what that guy does, everything he brings to the space. So I posted that there. Kind of just wanted to highlight that. So if anyone wants to support his animal sanctuary that he does and appreciates everything he brings to the space, there's some information in our call-up section. And one other quick shout out, kind of a project I've been following on the side personally is G Play Studio. Young man, I should say. He's not a kid. He's just way younger than me. But he's been developing since he was like 12 years old. He's 19 now. He's developed a project where you can play games and bet against each other, like Tetris, Pac-Man. He already has the games. You know what I mean? They're already there. You can gamble Matic. And anyway, I just kind of wanted to highlight that. Yeah, he's got an invite competition going where you can win $50. So, holler at me if you want some information about it. I'll be happy to share. Really good young man. Really would love to see him succeed in this space. Just seems like a positive influence. So, and I think he could be here for the long term. Yeah, absolutely. Then other than that, Universal updates. You guys want to expand on anything we're doing? I don't know if Steb wants to jump up here and talk. There was one question that we had, or if there's any questions that you guys see, if you want to point them out, about when we will be able to trade the AU land and on which decks. I don't really have an answer for which decks, but basically by the end of the month, we're planning to make that exchangeable on AU land, the AU land for AVAX. So just keep an eye out for an announcement on the exact date and time and where you'll be able to do that. And I'll
it'll be soon. We're talking end of the month is about 10 days, so we might have one more show, and hopefully at the next show we'll have a little bit more details with exactly where you'll be able to claim it and how. But yeah, the date is very, very close, so that's pretty massive for a massive like step forward for Universal as a whole. So, and there's a lot more kind of coming. So don't miss out, because you'll be sorry if you do. Not financial advice.
Right on. Yeah, we'll keep up to date. So, yeah, unless there's something you guys would like to add, we can close it out.
Yeah, I'm just seeing if Stud will hop up, but if not, yeah, I think keep your eye out for what's going to happen in the coming week or so with being able to transfer your AE land to AVAX, because that's coming, and you won't want to miss it. So
You're going to want to join our Twitter, because there's
Yeah.
going to be some alpha, springing out of that soon.
yeah, the alpha coming out of our Twitter is going to be pretty nuts in the next coming couple of weeks. So keep your eyes peeled, and keep your eyes open on our Discord, because there'll be announcements there too. So thanks for joining us, guys.
Yeah, thanks everyone for joining us, and thank you everyone for your support. This is our 6th news show, so just thank you everyone who's kind of supported us as we try to bring some new content to the DeFi community here. We do have a YouTube channel where we post them. You can subscribe and catch up on your news there. So yeah, check us out over on our YouTube channel. Like, subscribe. Thank you for everyone who attended, and yeah, again, who has supported us. And we'll see you next week.